Hey, we are back on the First and Goal podcast here with Jacob. How are you doing today?
So far, so good. It's Friday night. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say. The Falcons looked awful last night.
Oh yeah. I mean, is that the Falcons looking awful or the fact that Bill Belichick has coached this team up and is probably going to maybe get a division title and definitely get a playoff berth at this point in the AFC?
Yeah, Bill's got this team going. It's really nothing else you can say.
I mean, he has a quarterback that can throw the ball accurately, unlike last year.
Yeah, I mean, Mac Jones is in the running now for Rookie of the Year. He's going to catch up to Jamar Chase, I think, now.
Yeah, I mean, Jamar Chase has been a dominant rookie receiver. I can't remember a rookie receiver playing like this
Ever.
I mean, Justin Jefferson had an unbelievable rookie year, and Jamar Chase is just lapping him at this point.
Yep, as long as he stays healthy.
Yeah, but if Mac Jones gets this team to the playoffs, playing the way he is, I mean, coming out, everyone knew he was the most pro-ready quarterback.
And he went to the best system to be a quarterback in.
Yeah, which I think more and more you're finding out it's more where you end up than the talent you have.
Exactly. So, I mean, Falcons, that was a tough game.
Yeah,
4 interceptions, all 3 quarterbacks on the roster threw an interception. Thanks for showing up to work, Felipe Franks and Josh Rosen. I'm shocked that they even had 3 quarterbacks on the roster, but whatever.
I mean, with a 37-year-old Matt Ryan at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, you could keep him on, you could scratch him. I don't know why they had 3 active.
Maybe they knew Matt Ryan was going to have a tough game.
I don't know. It didn't really make sense, but that's really all you have to say about that game. It was a blowout, 25-0. I do like the conspiracy, though, that they purposely lost or they purposely missed the extra point. So that way they could remind the Falcons that they lost they lost a 25-point lead. I did see that conspiracy and it did make me laugh. And that is something Bill would do.
I don't know. I think Bill would be so pissed about anything messed up special teams wise.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it's still 25-0 with no time left.
Yeah. I guess in other news, Chris Carson is done for the year.
Yeah, I don't see that really mattering too much for them. I feel like he's always injured. Who it will matter for, Chicago Bears lose Khalil Mack for the year, and I believe Danny Trevathan. Both put on IR. So it's going to be a rough go for the Bears defense now.
I mean, yeah, the Bears defense didn't look as good as, they have in recent years. And losing arguably 2 of your probably 3 or 4 best, or 2 of your top 3 or 4 best players.
Yeah, it's going to be a real rough week because I know Eddie Jackson is still questionable. Akeem Hicks is out. Obviously, those 2 are now out. And I believe there was another injury back there, but it's going to be rough.
So the defense is Roquan and Jalen Johnson.
Yep, pretty much.
In other news, Kamara's out this week as well. For fantasy owners that, maybe you have Kamara and Chris Carson, might be a rough week for you.
Yeah, I mean, if you were lucky enough to get that high of talent and your team is just that bad still, it's kind of rough, but oh well. Yeah. You'll recover.
Yeah, another thing I want to bring up is I love how the media with Rodgers, because he said he was immunized, how it was a story for literally 2 weeks, and then Big Ben and Amari Cooper come out, and it's to miss 2 games.
Yeah, but I think it's the fact that they never said they were immunized or.
I mean, he never said he was vaccinated. He said he was immunized.
A person that did say he was vaccinated is Antonio Brown, which, I mean, if there was anyone in the league that you thought was going to show a fake COVID vaccine to the NFL, that'd probably be Antonio Brown.
Yeah, that story's insane. I can't believe that. What was it, like a chef, a friend of his, or like his personal chef, who he owed $10,000 to, asked if he could get him a $500 fake vaccination card.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even make sense when you say it out loud, but here we are. Antonio Brown, another saga. He's going to be missing some more time, I believe, as well as I think he's getting fined by the league. Can't really show people fake vaccination cards. I actually think that's a federal crime, but sure it won't go that far.
Oh yeah, he's an NFL player. They won't care.
Yeah, I mean,
Also, what does that say about the league?
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't even. He's in Tampa. Like, come on, like, it's not even a big deal over there anyway.
Yeah, I mean, more of, do they actually check it, or like someone turns in a vaccination card and it's okay?
He probably just told them he has a vaccination card. He probably didn't have to show anything.
Yeah,
But
crazy story.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty funny, but Antonio Brown probably should actually get vaccinated now. I mean, unless he doesn't want to, it's his choice.
I don't know. It might hurt the team. They are 1-3 without Antonio Brown since he's been on the team.
This is true. Any other news around the league before we kind of go into our picks?
Not really. I mean, the one thing, I mean, I'll get into it when we get our picks, but I am very surprised that Minnesota I've been seeing is a 2.5-point dog this week.
Oh, the other news, Tim Patrick signed a 3-year, $34 million contract. I would say that pretty much signals the end of Cortland Sutton's days after the season. Someone that I do expect the Bears to be high on this offseason, possibly bringing him to be wide receiver 1.
Would they have to, is he still under contract, or is he going to be a free agent?
No, I believe he becomes a free agent at the end of the season, and I believe it's unrestricted. So,
okay. I mean, for him, that's kind of I'd probably look towards him more of a low risk, high reward deal, just because he has had those injury issues the last couple of years. And
you're definitely not going to pay him Allen Robinson money, but for the Bears, who are kind of hurt by the cap in a way, he would kind of make sense to bring in as a high talented guy. Just got to make sure he stays healthy.
Maybe the Packers look his way.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with the Packers? Who knows if Devontae Adams will stay? Who knows if Aaron Rodgers will be the quarterback? Maybe him and Drew Lock will both come over to Green Bay. So there's a lot of possibilities over there. I think that's it. Let's kind of get into our picks here. Obviously, New England covered the spread. What is our standings right now going into this week?
Let me look. So you got that right. I got that wrong. We both got that wrong. So last week we were both 5-9.
Nice. We're really good gamblers. So I believe I stay 5 games back if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, you are. No, you're 6 games back.
Okay. We are into week 11. Obviously, we didn't get to pick the Thursday night game. I do think we both would have taken New England, but that doesn't really matter because it won't really move our line. I guess we can kind of just jump right into these picks. Detroit at Cleveland. Cleveland favorited by 10 points. Now, there's also Jarvis Landry drama now saying he's not getting the ball enough. Nick Chubb does return this week. I'm going to take Cleveland -10, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we're a couple weeks away from the Lions finally getting a victory here.
So Jared Goff is doubtful this week.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Who's the backup quarterback there?
Tim Boyle.
Okay, yeah, definitely give me Cleveland -10.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not Chase Daniel.
Not played well this year, but
wait, I thought they had Chase Daniel.
No, I think he might be retired at this point.
Or he might be a Charger now, if I'm not mistaken.
But yeah, I think their backups on their roster are Tim Boyle and David Blau.
Oh, that guy from Purdue. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, either one of those guys starting against the Cleveland defense, I think is going to have a rough game. I mean, you remember David Blau a couple years ago, I think, playing the Bears on Thanksgiving and him having a rough game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, give me Cleveland -10 here.
That makes sense. San Francisco, at Jacksonville. San Fran's coming off a huge win, kind of putting themselves back in the playoff picture. They're favored by 6.5. I'm actually going to take Jacksonville in this game. I think Jacksonville's finally kind of putting stuff together. Maybe not enough for Urban Meyer to keep his job or want to stay there, but I do think they'll get the job done. So I'm taking Jacksonville plus 6.5.
I like San Francisco's defense against the Jacksonville offense, and I think, their game plan is to run the ball and get Kittle, Ayuk, and Deebo Samuel out and play action and those short routes and helps Jimmy G out. I like San Francisco here against that. Yeah, I think they're just more talented all around the field. Take San Fran minus 6.5.
Indianapolis at Buffalo. Indianapolis now has the league's leading rusher, I believe. I think he's actually tied with Derrick Henry, but Jonathan Taylor, I think, is going to take it over definitely this week, but he may have taken it over last week. Buffalo's favored by minus 7.5. I do think I'm going to take Buffalo in this game. I think Josh Allen still has a point to prove. And now with New England on his tail, I think that they have to show that they are still the team to beat in the AFC East.
I don't know. I haven't seen a lot from Buffalo the last couple weeks that have made me confident in them. I think they're I think coming into the year, they thought their division was going to be very tough. And maybe, coming off that, going into that conference championship game, they're like, oh, we can just breeze through the first half of the season. Their offense has not looked good all year. Yeah, I mean, if Indy can control the time of possession and just get Jonathan Taylor involved, I like Indy plus 7.5 here. Just take the ball out of Josh Allen's hands.
I don't know. I trust Josh Allen probably too much, but I still think they'll get it done. Miami at the Jets. Sad, but Mike White might not be the answer. Miami's favored by 3. I'm going to take Miami. The Jets are just an awful organization, and I don't know what changes.
They got they have a Super Bowl MVP on their roster, a Super Bowl champion starting this game for the New York Jets, and Joe Flacco.
Is he starting this week?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes more sense. Mike White did say that he thought he should have been the number 1 overall pick, though.
What?
He said he should have been the number 1 overall pick over Baker.
Who, Mike White?
Yeah.
But, yeah, Miami's looked awful this year outside of that last game against Baltimore. And I think that was just a blip in the Baltimore playing bad. I'm taking Joe Flacco and the Jets plus 3 here.
Wow. Didn't see that one coming. Washington football team at the rejuvenated Carolina Panthers. Carolina's favored by 3.5. This is a tough one for me for really no reason. I think Washington's going to get it done here. I just think Taylor Heineke has a lot to play for in terms of his future, where maybe the Carolina honeymoon might be over after 1 week, and Cam Newton now actually having control of the offense. We might actually see the Cam of the last 2 years come back. I'm going to take Washington plus 3.5.
I'm taking Carolina minus 3.5. Christian McCaffrey's back another week back. Got that little bit of rust off last week in that big win against Arizona. And, maybe that defense can step up again to what they were doing early in the year. I think as long as Cam can keep the turnovers down and in the red zone, I don't see this Washington team stopping them at all with Cam and McCaffrey. So, yeah, as long as Carolina doesn't turn the ball over, I like Carolina minus 3.5 here.
Can we skip past the next game or no?
No.
Well, Baltimore at Chicago. If Chicago is healthy, I would probably take Chicago to actually win this game outright. But Baltimore minus 6 seems like a lock coming off the loss. I'm not really sure, other than Roquan, if there's anyone quick enough to catch up to Lamar. So sadly, I'm gonna have to take Baltimore minus 6.
You sure you don't want to go with your Chicago Bears?
I think Justin Fields will have a good game. I just don't see them being able to stop him.
Is this going to be a game of running quarterbacks?
I'm hoping to God that Justin Fields throws the ball, but I mean, he might have to trying to get out of the pocket. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that Baltimore dog pass rush has looked decent has looked pretty good the last couple of weeks against that Bears O line. I like Baltimore -6 here.
Yeah.
I don't think the Bears are a very good football team. It's
Not
sad
a,
because they don't have a first round pick.
I know. Trust me, I know. New Orleans at Philadelphia. Philadelphia favored by 1.5. I don't really understand this line. I'm gonna take the Saints +1.5. I know that the quarterback situation isn't ideal, but I really don't think the Eagles are as good as everyone thinks.
Yeah, I don't see how the Eagles are going to really move that ball against that Saints defense. Do you trust Jalen Hurts in that offense? Like Jalen Hurts throwing the ball,
I don't trust Jalen Hurts in the slightest.
or Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott being able to run the ball on that New Orleans front?
I think
So,
Miles
yeah,
Sanders might be coming back this week.
Hopefully for your fantasy team.
He won't be starting.
But yeah, give me New Orleans +1.5 here.
Houston at Tennessee. Tennessee's favored by 10.5. I believe Julio Jones is out for this game. But it's still Houston, so I'm going to take Tennessee -10.5, even though that is a large number.
It's a divisional game, and these usually do play closer than what any other game, just because you want to beat your divisional rivals and play them tough. But Tennessee might be the best team in football at this point, even without Derrick Henry, which I never thought I'd say.
Yeah, I thought that was the entire team, to be honest with you.
But yeah, give me Tennessee -10.5 here.
Green Bay favored by 2.5 over Minnesota. I think AJ Dillon's going to be the big difference maker in this game. So I actually like Green Bay -2.5. I mean, I just think the Packers have a lot to play for.
Yeah, I did see an interesting stat though when looking into this game a little bit. So Minnesota this year has held a 7-point or plus lead in every single game so far this year, and has pretty much played in close games the entire season.
Hey, 2.5's close.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, this Packers defense, they shut out the Seattle Seahawks with Russell Wilson.
He is not the same though.
I mean, it's still shutting out a Russell Wilson-led team.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's full Russell Wilson, but I get what you're saying.
So against Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, and Kyler Murray, the last couple of weeks, the defense has looked pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they'll win the game, like I said.
Yeah, so I like Green Bay -2.5 here. I think it's going to be closer than what I thought it was going to originally, but I don't trust Kirk.
No, God, no. Cincinnati at Vegas. Cincinnati's favored by 1. Vegas, as far as I know, no one got arrested this week, so that's a step in the right direction. I like Cincinnati in this game. I think that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are going to have a big game, but I mean, I wouldn't actually be surprised if the Raiders win. So I'm still going to take Cincinnati -1, but this game is upset alert for me.
I think the Raiders are they want the season to be over at this point.
Don't they want every season to be over by the halfway point?
Probably. But especially this one, they got blown out by Kansas City, who did not look good against the Packers the week before.
Kansas City might be back, though.
I mean, it's one game.
That's all it takes.
And yeah, I like Cincinnati -1 here. I'm surprised this line's as low as it is.
Kind of what I was thinking too. Arizona at Seattle. Arizona's favored by 2.5. Is Kyler Murray back this week?
I believe so.
Is Hopkins?
I have no idea.
I don't think it matters. I'm still going to take Arizona. I think Russell Wilson's not fully healthy. I think that they kind of rushed him into everything. So I'm going to take Arizona -2.5. If this was a fully healthy Russell Wilson, I think it could be different, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, I like Arizona -2.5. From what I saw from the Seattle Seahawks last week, I mean, the defense looked pretty decent. Aaron Rodgers did not play his best game, but yeah, that offense just looked awful.
Dallas at Kansas City. Kansas City's favored by 2.5. I'm going to take Kansas City. I'm not going to say they're back, but I'm going to say they're back.
I think last week was a blip against a team that's been reeling for the last month, losing their head coach and two of their top two first picks from last year's draft to threatening to kill someone and the Henry Ruggs situation and actually killing someone. So yeah, Dallas's defense has looked good. Patrick Mahomes has not shown me that he's able to hold on to the ball and not turn the ball over. And Trayvon Diggs has been a turnover monster this year. I'm surprised this isn't the Sunday Night Football game.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, give me Dallas plus 2.5 here. I think they're going to outright win this game.
The Raiders murder everyone but the opposing quarterback, which is probably the only person that it would be acceptable to murder. Steelers at Chargers. Chargers favored by 5.5. Steelers have no Big Ben, and we saw them how they looked against the Lions. And now they go to the West Coast where they play the Chargers, who again don't have many fans. It's probably gonna be more Pittsburgh fans in that stadium, but I'll take the Chargers minus 5.5.
Yeah, I like the Chargers minus 5.5 here too. They're kind of getting lucky because they're not playing good ball at this point.
Absolutely
But
not.
the rest of their division is kind of
Agreed.
where the Raiders and Broncos have both come back to the pack. And the Chiefs started out the year so bad that they're still in this. But I think Herbert can turn it around. That defense can turn it around. And I think they're too talented to not make the playoffs this year. And I definitely like them against the Mason Rudolph-led Steelers team. Give me the Chargers minus 5.5.
This next one confuses me a little bit. Giants at the struggling Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Bucs are favored by 11. I mean, just 11 seems like a lot. And I really don't think the Giants are as bad as everyone thinks. So I'm going to take Giants plus 11.
I think Chris Godwin's going to have a massive game this week. Daniel Jones, I mean, he hasn't turned the ball over as much as he has in the past, but I still don't trust him. I think he's a bottom tier quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, I still agree with that, but I just don't think the team is that bad.
Yeah, I mean, and that O-line, I don't see them being able to protect Daniel Jones this week. So yeah, give me the Bucs minus 11 here.
I feel like this is the most differences that we've had in a while. Kind of crazy, but I think we both have a chance to see if you're going to run away with this or if I'm going to make it real close.
Yeah, there's a 6-game difference.
Yeah, that's
this week.
Quite a few. I mean, obviously, if we split, we're nowhere different, but we'll see what happens. Do you have any other things that you want to cover?
If we can go back to the news, just there we go. There's this one article which is and Michael Gallup's back this week for the Cowboys offense, but they did lose Amari Cooper, so there's that.
I just thought of something that I do want to discuss. I don't really like the guy as much. Jeff Bezos now has put his name in to try to buy the Bears. So,
is he a big football guy?
He wants to be part owner along with Churchill Downs when the McCaskey family decides to sell. So making the Arlington Heights move a lot more sense to make. The city of Chicago is talking about trying to buy the team. They'll have nowhere near the amount of money that Bezos and Churchill Downs do. So I don't really know how that's going to work out. But I have a feeling that we're going to be just looking at the Bears playing in Amazon Stadium in Arlington Heights, Illinois.
Oh, one other thing. Dallas Goedert signed a 4-year, $57 million extension with the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's a huge number for Dallas Goedert.
I mean, he's played pretty well this year.
4 years, 57 million, you said?
Yeah,
What?
it's about a little over 14 a year, 14.25.
That's actually crazy, but I believe it. Also, I think talks are starting to heat up of an NFL expansion. Now, this is something that we'll kind of cover after the season's over. But if there's 4 more teams added to the NFL, which is a crazy number to add, I would imagine they're going to 6 divisions of 6 teams. And it'll be East, Central, and West, AFC, NFC.
So it would move up to 36 teams.
Yeah. I don't know how else you can make that make sense with the division numbers.
Yeah, it would have to be 6 and 6 or 6. Yeah, probably 6 and 6.
Which would almost make I'm guessing NFC Central is what they'd have to call it. Very interesting because I think you'd have a second team in Chicago, which that might be an AFC team. I know Oklahoma City, they're kind of talking about that could be an NFC team, as well as the Dallas Cowboys could be moving up here. Or the Colts would change.
I think the team that makes the most sense to switch to the NFC might be the Colts.
The Colts make a lot of sense. Now, if you had the St. Louis team, maybe you have St. Louis and the Colts come up to our division.
Yeah, I like that. I like St. Louis getting a team.
There's a possibility that the Cowboys move to AFC then, because there's no way you can continue to put them in the East.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
you might have to put. I mean, you could put them in the West with move them in with the 49ers, get that rivalry going again. And
then you probably have to
probably have to add that Oklahoma City team into whatever division.
Yeah, the other place that they're talking about a team is Toronto, which I think that'd be an awesome rivalry with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
So that'd be fun. But
I mean, another place, that could maybe get a team is I'd say somewhere like Portland.
They're talking Mexico City, which I actually don't mind that idea. Having a team in Mexico, obviously you'd have to build a stadium there because I believe they were going to do a Monday night game in Mexico City, and that was a disaster. They had to cancel the game.
Oh yeah, because they were playing on the soccer pitch.
Yeah, and the field was a disaster. So I mean, you'd have to build a world-class stadium, but I think if you put a team in Mexico, it will be the entire Mexican population cheering for that one team, which would be pretty crazy.
I'm surprised that I mean, you always know the cons. They might be moving one team to London.
That just doesn't make sense to me, just because you have to move. You'd have a team in London that's going to have to play some away games in like Los Angeles and Kansas City. And not that Kansas City is the farthest part of this country, but that's still a huge commute. And you'd have to have teams traveling to London every week. I just don't think it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, Mexico City is one thing, but traveling all the way across the Atlantic to London.
Now, if Jacksonville wants to play half their games in Jacksonville and half of them in London, where maybe they only bring those East Coast teams over there, then fine. But
yeah,
I mean,
it'd be interesting, having a little bit more, I guess, checking up the divisions, because how are the Indianapolis Colts in the South?
How is Dallas going to be able to move from the East to the West? And people don't think that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, that could be an episode that we do once we hear where they move, pick out the divisions.
Yeah, the East and West, or East and North for the AFC doesn't make much sense to me either, because Baltimore not being on the East just doesn't make sense.
Over Miami?
Yeah, Miami maybe South.
Yeah, how is Miami not in the South?
And then you move Indianapolis
not
to north.
In the north, and Baltimore not in the East.
You just have to rotate those, and it make a lot more sense than what it does now. Or like when St. Louis is playing on the West, it's like, what?
I mean, that is the gateway to the West.
Yeah, but isn't St. Louis, like, if you were to put a map, isn't St. Louis more east than Dallas?
Yeah.
So I never understood the NFL with those, but that's just me. That'll make for a fun episode. Maybe we'll get Gars. Gars, if you're listening, we miss you.
Hope you're doing well.
Hope you're doing well. We hope you
join
us on another episode soon. It was fun when we had you that one week. Any bold predictions for this week, by the way?
I mean, bold prediction for this week. I gotta see Matt.
I'll give you mine. Bears get blown out and Matt Nagy finally gets fired.
Let's see.
Can the Packers lock up the division this week?
So 17 games. Let me check.
It's getting pretty close.
So I think 17 games.
They'd have the tiebreaker then, I think, over everyone.
They would, if they win this week against the Vikings, they'll have a 5-game lead. They would technically need one more win.
That's so sad.
Or they would need 2 more wins if they win this week to officially lock up the division, I believe.
Well, that's football for us. I'll let you take us out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be an exciting week, a lot closer than we've seen the last couple of weeks for lines. None of those like 16.5-point lines against the Texans.
Yeah, this week was harder for us to pick, which also is funny because we went 5-9 last week, but whatever.
Yeah, so should be an interesting week. Keep it tuned in for either fantasy news or our thoughts if you care about those on all these. Seems like a lot of extensions are coming down the pipeline, as well as if you're into UFC, listen to our UFC podcast. Had a great event last week for I think technically UFC fight night in Vegas, like 40 something.
42. We're on to 43 this week.
43 with Misha Tate. If you know who that is, if you don't, go look her up. You probably become a fan real quick.
Yeah, you can look her up on some pretty crazy websites too, if you know what I mean.
But should be an interesting week. So keep it tuned in and hopefully Packers and I don't know if you're rooting for you're probably rooting for the Bears at this point because they don't have a first round pick, but yeah, hopefully the Packers can win and see you next time.
See you guys.